Today I want to share with you all about the love of Jesus, the grace that God the Father has for us all. And there's a story that Jesus tells in Matthew chapter 20. It's the parable of the vineyard worker. In this story that Jesus tells, he refers to the kingdom of heaven like a landowner. And this landowner goes out and in the morning and he wants to hire workers for his vineyard. So it's roughly 9 o'clock, and he goes up and he says, hey, I'll pay you a full day's wage if you come and you work for me. A few hours later, around noon, this landowner goes back out again and he hires some more workers and says, hey, if you come, I'll pay you a full day's wage just for working half a day. And then at 3 o'clock, near the day's end, he goes out and he finds some more workers and he says, hey, I'll pay you if you all come and work for me at my vineyard. And then at the end of the day, around 5 o'clock, he goes out again and he finds some more people who aren't doing anything and he says, hey, come work for me. And there was only an hour or so left in the day. When the day was over, he gathered all of the workers together and he started with the ones who had just started working and he paid them a full day's wage. When the people who started working for him at 9 o'clock in the morning saw that the people who just started at 5 o'clock got a full day's wage, they assumed they were going to get more than what they were originally told. But by the time the landowner got to them, he gave them the same that he gave the ones who started at 5 o'clock. This is such a perfect example of what it's like in the kingdom. It doesn't matter when you come to know Jesus. The price he paid is the same for all of us. We all fall short of the glory. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to sin. And in Romans chapter 6, it says, for the wages of sin is death. But Jesus paid in full for all of our sins. But just like those workers who started at 9 o'clock, you can imagine they were probably a little bitter and a little turned off to the people who received that grace, even though they just had started working. They received this love. They received the full day's wage. And sometimes as Christians, that's what we do. Someone hurt us in our past. Someone made a mistake. Someone did something wrong to us. And now all of a sudden, they're experiencing Jesus' love all around them. And we say, God, how comes that person can be a Christian? See, we need to get through our heads that Jesus did not just die for you. He died for everyone. He died for all of mankind. It's not His will for any of us to die and go to hell. But for some of us, we want some of our friends who are now enemies. We want some of the people who have hurt us in our past. We would rather see them in hell. And that's not right at all. So I want you guys to read this passage this week. I challenge you, read the parable of the vineyard workers and ask yourself, am I okay with people in my life having the same grace that I've received? I would hope that you are. Jesus died for everyone. His sacrifice was for all. His love wasn't based on circumstances. It wasn't based on what we did to Him. If your love was based on your daily decisions and your daily choices, I don't think we would have God's love. But see, His love isn't based on that. His love is unconditional. His love is never ending. God is love. And we're called to be just like Christ. We're called to love the same way that Jesus loved us. It doesn't matter when you find that love that God has for you. But when you do, He will give you all of His love. He doesn't hold it back. So as Christians, we can't hold back on loving others. God's love is not based on circumstances or what is around us. It's based because God is love, because He cares for us, because He wants to know you. I dare you, love, not based on what someone does to you, but just because God loved you